안녕하세요. 미국주식으로 은퇴하기 미주은입니다. 어느덧 2021년도 일주일이 지나갔습니다. 연초에 많은 새해 결심을 하셨을 텐데요. 이러한 새해 다짐을 잘 지켜나가고 계신지 궁금합니다. 이렇게 우리가 새로운 마음으로 내 인생의 전환점을 만들고자 노력할 만한 시기잖아요. 이러한 시기에 많은 귀감이 될 만한 분이 계십니다. 바로 미국 유튜버 중 한 분인 캐리 아저씨인데요. 미주은에서 지난 11월 14일 날 보내드린 캐리 아저씨와의 인터뷰 영상은요. 지금까지 10만 명이 넘는 분들이 시청을 해주셨고요. 그중 7,700명의 분들이 엄지척을 올려주셨습니다. 정말로 많은 분들이 이 영상에 대해서 극찬을 해주셔서요. 오늘은 새해를 맞이해 특집 영상으로 캐리 아저씨와의 두 번째 인터뷰 영상을 공유하도록 하겠습니다. 지난 영상을 보지 않으신 분들을 위해 간단히 말씀드리면요. 오늘 영상의 주인공은 Best of Us Investors라는 미국 주식 전문 유튜브를 운영하시는 캐리라는 분이고요. 이분은 이미 은퇴하신 전직 파이낸셜 어드바이저 출신이십니다. 그리고 참고로요. 오늘 보시는 인터뷰 영상은 크리스마스 전주에 촬영이 되었습니다. 그동안 제가 시간을 내지 못해서요. 자막 작업하고 편집이 늦어지는 바람에 오늘에서야 공유하게 된 점 양해해 주시기 바랍니다. 2021년 1월 7일 목요일 방송 캐리 아저씨와의 두 번째 인터뷰 투자의 권리 바로 시작합니다. Hello, Kerry.
Hey, Charles, how are you?
Good, thank you. How have you been?
I've been good. Here in Alabama, it is just turned a little bit cold, but we've had beautiful weather, and yeah, everything's been wonderful.
You know, the response for our last collaboration was fantastic. You know,
Good.
We have achieved 100K views so far. And I believe the number of the comments is also 570. Yeah, so many comments, and most of them were very positive. It's all about compliments on you, your passion, your insights, and people were very impressed by your energy. You know, even though you are very senior, they can see that you still have a lot of passion in your life, and it's not only about the investment, but the life itself. You have become a great role model for them.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Okay, so where do we start?
Okay. Let me start by saying my life in investing has evolved over the last couple of years. And basically, I now look in my investment world for events that are going to change the way I live. And then who are the companies that are going to be instrumental in that change? And I consider it a luxury that I have the right to invest in them and then profit from their good business decisions, and thus I profit off of it. With that in mind, I believe we are at a major pivot point in my life. And understand, I've been around for 76 years, so I've experienced a lot. And I think what I am going to experience in the next 3 to 5 years is going to dwarf everything that I've experienced up until this time. And I think it's going to be driven by three basic events, if you will. And the first one is the energy that is going to be applied to saving our environment. And the number one place you're going to see that is in electric vehicles. And I think we're already starting to see that.
Yes.
Number two is this virus. This virus, in my mind, was World War III. As World War II changed the world we lived in, created a new world order, this virus will do the same thing. And where we will see it is in biotech. And I believe in the leaders of the worlds and the leaders of our business world will say this can never happen again. and biotech will step in to make sure it never happens again. Now, what will facilitate both of those events will be 5G. 5G will make it possible. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. I think from what I see and hear, I think a lot of people are misallocating their assets to who they think the major players in 5G are going to be. And I would start that by saying, who were the major winners of 4G? And what was 4G? 4G was the ability to make this little device here more appropriate for us and to facilitate gathering more data so that the people with it behind the 4G could make our lives better and more efficient. Yes. Okay, so who were the real winners of 4G? And I tell my viewers, read this book. This is The Big Nine by Amy Webb. And Amy says that the Big Nine is Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, IBM, Alibaba, Tencent, and Baidu. Now, why are they the big winners of 4G? Because 4G gave this and this computer I have the ability to gather data. And from that data, they then created towers of data and databases that now we call the cloud. And then they developed artificial intelligence and machine learning to sort and gather and just churn that data up to come back to us to improve our lives. And we've accepted gracefully. Now, some people think that their lives are being invaded by it, but for the most part, they go right along with it. They continue to use Facebook. They continue to use Apple, Google, Amazon. I don't think most people recognize the real big winners in this are the people who developed the cloud. And that's Amazon Web Services. Google has their cloud, Microsoft, Apple, and those are the real amazing winners. And where I think people get misguided is that they think the winners are going to be the people of 4G, which were Intel, Ericsson, Qualcomm, Nokia, AT&T, and Samsung. And they really weren't the winners. They constructed it, but they weren't the people who then monetized it. There is no way to get around the big winner, the big winners of 4G were Amazon, Google, and Apple. They are the ones who are cashing in. And then the question is asked of me, who are the next $3 stocks? Who are the next $10 stocks that are going to become them? Those are few and far between because the talent, the knowledge, and the money is all with the big nine right now. Google in 2014 bought an English company by the name of DeepMind. It's a very small company in London. And they just this last week announced that they won some prize for something called protein folding.
AlphaFold. Yeah.
Did you read that?
Yeah.
And protein folding is all about organizing the 20 enzymes. Is that what it is? Or that might not be the right word, in our body that make up our body lifeblood. And as a result of that, and as a result of genome sequencing, how old are you?
47.
You'll probably live to be 150. Yeah, because this 5G will gather more data and create more artificial intelligence and more machine learning. And so they will be able to analyze your body and go in through CRISPR and change your DNA. I read a book. I read this book. It's called Lifespan by David Sinclair. And David says that if you can eliminate the diseases and the viruses that kill you, wouldn't it make sense you'll live forever? When I was 16 years old and I bought my first car, it was a 1956 Ford. And it had a life expectancy of 50,000 miles.
Sure.
Okay. I now drive a BMW. It has a life expectancy of 3 times that.
Yeah.
And if I take care of it, 4 times that. Well, why? Why? Because we refined how it worked. My BMW has 145 sensors on it that tells me when anything is wrong with it, when the oil is too low, when the water is too hot, when the tires are low. It tells it. In fact, my wife drives a Porsche, and a little light comes on her dashboard and says, "Take me to the shop." yeah. But that car has 90,000 miles on it, and there's no reason it won't go to 200,000 miles if I take it to the shop when it tells me to. So when I look at 5G, I see that my car has 145 sensors. If Amazon or Google or Facebook convince me to make my home a smart home where all my appliances have 5G sensors in them, and they fly a drone over my house to find out how efficient my windows and my insulation are, they're going to be able to give me value that I now have in my car into my house. If I then go along with them and turn my bathroom into a smart bathroom where my toilet analyzes my poop every morning and my urine, and I prick my finger once a week and it analyzes my blood, and I stand in front of a mirror to see if I have any cancers showing up on my body, and my phone picks all that data up through 5G and sends it into the cloud and compares my data and my body and my function with millions of other people. And then CRISPR and genome sequencing is looking at any flaws that are in my body to eliminate cancer or Parkinson's or heart disease. Then I say to you, okay, what's going to kill you? Well, the same thing that's going to kill your car, and that is broken parts. Okay? So what do we do with the car? We replace the parts. So 3D printing, they're already printing ears. They've printed a liver. They've tried, and they're working on printing a heart. So what's going to kill me? If I live long enough, I'll live forever. And 5G is going to be my ticket. 5G is going to be the ticket for me to live forever. And 5G is going to be controlled and owned by the same people who own 4G. So I look at Amazon right now and I say, okay, it's $3,200 a share. What is my life worth? What price do I put on it? Apple's a $2 trillion company. What does Apple give me? Communication with the world. Music. I can ask it anything and it'll give me an answer. That's what it gives me. What's the value of that up against my life? What will I pay? If I'll pay $1,000 for this, what will I pay for this? What will I pay for this for my children and for my grandchildren? So what is the value of 5G? And who's going to deliver it to me? It's the same people who delivered me 4G. I think I mentioned this in my last video, where Tim Cook asked Jim Cramer, what do you believe in 20 years will be the most important contribution of Apple to society? And Jim said, well, I guess the iPhone. He said, no, it'll be health. It'll be healthcare. Because they are developing wearables. They already have a watch that will notify you that you're going to have a heart attack. What will you pay for that? There is no limit. So I look at the next 5 years and say, they will be the most important years in my lifetime. And my goal is to live through them and to stay healthy through them. I look at Amazon. Amazon's web services is their key element. It makes up 70% of their profits. And this is the other thing that kind of screws with my head. 4G gave the data that I gave it, that you and I produced, the searches we made, the questions we asked, the information we shared. Well, I never stopped to think about how many things I own that could have a chip in it, but it's a lot more than one. It's probably in the neighborhood of 5, maybe even 1,000, when you figure your furnace and your air conditioners and your dishwasher and your pantry and the amount of data that they will be able to gather is just beyond my mind. Then you go to Facebook and they have Oculus. And here in the United States, they're just starting to show commercials. And I envision the day that I can go skiing with my Oculus goggles while my grandson sits in his room in Atlanta and we ski down the slopes together and we get the full body experience from it by wearing through artificial reality. And then I think of Google with this deep mind and how they have taken the map of the body and figured it out to extend life. And then Apple developed their M1 chip. That kind of scares me that both of those they're going to put chip companies out of business. And think about that, because Advanced Micro Devices, which I own, and NVIDIA, which I own, because of 5G, but I think it was just announced in the last 3 weeks that Amazon's going to develop their own chip. And Apple's already developed their own chip. So if they've got all the data, if they've got all the money, what's to hold them back? There is nothing other than the government. And then if I'm the government and I say, I need to hold them back. Okay, what are you going to do about China? They ain't holding Tencent back. They ain't holding Baidu back, or they aren't holding Alibaba back. They have recognized that these 3 companies are the companies that are going to catapult China into potentially the #1 world power. So if you break up your companies that can keep you at the center of world power, where do you end up? I don't think the people in Washington, quite honestly, are smart enough to figure that out. So I hope they watch this video and figure it out. Well, they got their own motives, but I think reality will set in. And I think, quite honestly, Charles, I think, this virus has been a terrible thing. And as a result of it, I think there will be some unintended consequences that will be very beneficial. But as there were some unintended consequences of World War II, I think we will look back in 10 years and say, what would have happened if we hadn't had that virus? Would we be here? And I think with 5G, driving, electric vehicles, and the biotech thing is enormous. My wife said to me, how is it that they created a vaccine in probably less than 5 months. Technology. Well, why did it take them so long to find a vaccine for the polio, which I grew up with? We didn't have technology. We didn't have artificial intelligence. We didn't have machine learning. We didn't have big data. We didn't have the ability to gather all this data together and then process it through quantum computing to come up with an answer that quick. Our number one killer in the United States is heart disease. We have 800,000. Is that it? Right? Yes, 800,000 people a year in the United States die from heart disease. That works out to be somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think it's 2,000 a day. Well, we've surpassed that with the coronavirus. I think we're going to learn from our mistakes. That's my take on it. And I think I think I would say to your investors, who I remember, I think you told me, if I can paraphrase it, the title of your channel is how to invest in the United States stock market to enhance your retirement. Okay. If I can give them any advice, it's Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Apple. I don't like IBM. I don't believe they have an identity. And then I'm now focusing very heavy on biotech, and I like CRISPR. I bought Illumina, and Illumina is all about genome sequencing. But on the other side of it, in the past 7 months, 8 months, we've printed $7 trillion worth of American dollars and put them on the street. And our interest rates haven't gone up, and inflation isn't going up. That's got to reconcile some way, someday. So my advice to my viewers is 2021 is going to be a stock picker's market. I think the banks are going to have trouble. I think the travel industry will continue to have trouble. I expect Boeing to be nationalized. I expect the number of airlines to diminish. And because again, we don't have to have face-to-face meetings anymore. We are having a migration in our country of people from the expensive states to the affordable states. So our real estate horizon is changing dramatically. So from March 25th through today, you could pretty much throw money at any stock and it was going to treat you well. But starting in January 2021, it's going to be a stock picker's market. And I'm stock picking in electric vehicles, biotech, and 5G.
Last time you told us that you have only 8 stocks. So it was a big 7 plus Illumina. So there was some change in your portfolio?
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. Let me see. I've got it right here. Tesla, NIO, and BYD in the electric vehicle space. Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft in the, I would call that 5G and big data. CRISPR, Illumina, Entella, that's ticker NTLA, and Pacific, I don't know the name of it, it's PACB. It's a smaller company that also does genome sequencing.
Pacific Bioscience, you mean? Pacific Bioscience of California.
Bioscience, California, yes. NVIDIA. I bought Xlinia, which was purchased by Advanced Micro Devices. So I consider that Advanced Micro Devices. I also own Square, which is, I'm up 72% on it. Wow. And then I own a real estate company over here called EXPI, a very small holding in it. On Saturday, I was watching the news. Dr. Fauci, our head, came and said, do not go into the shopping malls for Christmas. Do not go to the shopping mall. Shop online. Wow. That's a directive. And I thought, wow, I need to buy more Amazon. I need to buy Spotify. And then I thought, well, there's a lot of people in the space of e-commerce. Who's going to be the end winner in that? And I decided it was UPS and FedEx because they all got to shop and then send the packages. And then this morning I bought another stock, LiDAR, the LiDAR maker called Luminar. Think about it. Elon has built all his cars based on video, but everybody else doesn't have that video. And Elon buffooned LiDAR because it costs $75,000 per car.
Yeah.
But this company is going to get it down to $1,000 per car.
Yes.
So that's another play in my book for electric vehicles. So that's now you know pretty much what I own today.
Thank you for sharing the portfolio.
And here's what I'm doing, Charles. I've got a what do you call it? A Discord that my viewers can go to, and my Discord will show my portfolio on a day-to-day basis. We're going to charge $10 a month for the Discord. And every time I trade, I will take a screenshot of my trade, put it on the Discord, so they'll know exactly what I'm doing every day that I do it. And that's what I challenge my clients or my viewers to do, is look into the future. This is a book I also would recommend. The Future is Faster Than You Think. This gave me what I call a window that I can look through this. I can read this, and this gentleman does a phenomenal job of envisioning what's going to happen in the future. And then you just got to figure out who's going to do it and where you put your money. Because truly, here we are, individuals, small people, if you will, and we have the right to own Amazon and Apple and Google. We aren't that smart, but we have a right to be an owner. Anybody who passes up that right, excuse me, but is an idiot. You know, why would you go spend $5 on a cup of Starbucks coffee when you can buy a partial share of Google at Robinhood for $5? You know, it don't make any sense to me. But it's going to be a stock picker's market. It's going to be wrapped around electric vehicles, biotech, and 5G. Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you for the valuable time. I'm very sure that once I upload these contents, there will be a lot of a good response again.
Well, let me share with you.
Yeah.
The day you uploaded it, I got 1,000 new subscribers.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
So you had some Korean comments?
Oh, yes. So you want to do this again, you just write.
That's great. That's great. That's because of the great contents we shared to the audience, I believe. So I believe I will see you maybe next year. So I wish you a wonderful holiday season. Please just stay healthy and safe. And very happy New Year.
Okay. So you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I hope to see you next year.
Sure. See you next year.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
오늘 어떻게 캐리 아저씨와의 두 번째 인터뷰도 재미있게 시청하셨는지 모르겠습니다. 지난 11월 달에 인터뷰했을 때는요, 캐리 아저씨가 투자하시는 종목은 단 8가지에 불과했었습니다. 즉 애플, 아마존, 구글, 페이스북, 마소, 여기에다가 스퀘어, 테슬라, 그리고 일루미나가 전부였는데요. 이번 인터뷰를 통해서 캐리 아저씨는 본인이 투자하고 있는 18개 종목을 모두 공개해 주셨습니다. 이 종목들의 투자 가치를 떠나서요. 본인의 포트폴리오를 우리가 참고할 수 있도록 오픈해 주신 나눔의 마음에 감사의 마음을 가져야 할 것 같습니다. 그럼 캐리 아저씨 투자 종목 18개 기업을 다시 한번 정리해 보면요. 먼저 애플이 있고요. 아마존, 알파벳, 페이스북, 마이크로소프트, 엔비디아, AMD, 자일링스를 통해서 간접 투자하고 있다고 말씀하셨죠. 그리고 스퀘어, 그다음에 EXPI라는 부동산 업체가 있고요. 테슬라, 니오, 루미나, 크리스퍼, 일루미나, 인텔리아, 퍼시픽 사이언스 오브 캘리포니아, 유나이티드 파슬 서비스, 그리고 페덱스, 이렇게 총 18가지 기업입니다. 오늘 방송도 역시 Catch Me If You Want로 마무리하도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 Catch Me If You Want에서는요, 인터뷰 내용 중에 가장 기억에 남는 부분을 제가 나름대로 정리해 봤는데요. 가장 먼저 2021년은 종목 선택이 굉장히 중요할 것이다라고 말씀을 하셨잖아요. 2020년은 사실 어떠한 종목을 매수해도 주식이 워낙 불장이었기 때문에 누구나 돈을 벌 수 있는, 수익을 올릴 수 있는 그런 좋은 장이 마련이 됐었습니다. 하지만 2021년은요, 우리가 많은 시간과 에너지를 투자해서 좋은 종목을 분석을 통해서 발굴하는 것이 중요하다는 메시지를 우리한테 남겨주셨습니다. 두 번째로요, 3 메이저 이벤트에 대해서 말씀하셨는데요. 즉, 지금 시점에서 가장 중요한 3가지의 이벤트는 지속 가능한 에너지에 대한 사람들의 관심, 그리고 바이러스에 대한 어떠한 대응책이 나올 것인가, 그리고 앞으로 우리가 바이러스 같은 재앙을 다시 겪지 않기 위해서 각국의 정상들이 어떠한 노력을 펼칠 것인가, 그리고 5G, 이렇게 3가지의 이벤트를 가장 커다란 이벤트, 우리가 관심을 가져야 할 이벤트로 지목해 주셨습니다. 자, 세 번째로요. 이러한 이벤트에 연결시켜서 우리가 투자에 관심을 가져야 될 섹터를 골라보면요. 역시 전기차, 그리고 바이오테크, 그리고 5G 이렇게 3가지로 압축이 됩니다. 마지막 메시지가 저는 상당히 좋았는데요. 주식 투자는 우리의 권리다. 따라서 이렇게 소중한 권리를 포기하지 말고 우리가 주식 투자를 꼭 해야 된다라는 굉장히 확신에 찬 목소리를 들을 수가 있었습니다. 오늘 제가 준비한 내용은 여기까지입니다. 여러분들께서도 영상을 보시면서 느끼셨겠지만 캐리 아저씨께서는요, 자신이 투자하고 있는 종목을 소개할 때요, 종목 하나하나마다 자신이 가지고 있는 투자의 이유를 논리적으로 설명해 주셨잖아요. 저는 이러한 부분이 전직 파이낸셜 어드바이저에게 우리가 꼭 배워야 하는 성공적인 주식 투자를 위해서 가져야 할 버릇이라고 생각을 합니다. 이렇게 투자하는 종목마다 투자의 원리를 가지기 위해서는요, 어쩔 수 없이 우리가 그 기업에 대해서 공부를 하게 되고요. 또 그러한 과정을 거치면서 좀 더 좋은 기업, 잠재력이 있는 종목을 가려내는 시야가 길러지게 되는 거겠죠. 더 중요한 것은요, 확신에 관한 부분입니다. 자신이 왜 이 종목에 투자하고 있는지에 대한 논리적 근거가 있어야 잠시 시장의 변동성으로 인해서 주가가 흔들릴 때 투자금을 깎아먹으면서 매도하지 않고요. 내가 선택한 기업에 대한 확신을 가지고 추가 매수를 할 수 있는 거거든요. 많은 분들께서 저에게 매수 시점에 대한 질문을 주시는데요. 저도 사실 별다른 방법은 없습니다. 단 하나 제가 꾸준히 지켜가고 있는 룰이 있다면요. 주가가 폭락할 때마다 하나 둘씩 제가 관심을 가지고 있던 기업의 주식을 모으고 있다는 사실입니다. 우리 모두가 미국 주식 투자로 은퇴하는 그날까지 다 함께 화이팅입니다. 행복한 하루 되세요. 감사합니다.